was like, what? Stay tuned for Airgun Detectives.
Welcome to another episode of Airgun Detectives. I'm your host, JC, and guess what? We're going to take the mystery out of the AEA's, the HP series. This is the Ss+Plus. This is a semi-auto pistol, and this one is in .30 caliber. But before we get started on the review here, do me a favor if you hadn't already, hit that subscribe button down there in the corner. It doesn't cost you anything. It's absolutely free, but it really helps support the channel. Also, check out my website at www.airgundetectives.com. On the site, I've got t-shirts, got hats, have our Generation 2 bipods, and occasionally I have some of my personal airgun collection that I put on there just to thin out the herd a little bit, as you would say. All right, let's get back to our gun on hand. I'm pretty excited about this. This is a semi-automatic 30 caliber PCP rifle. Yes, semi-automatic, which is really, really awesome. Let's talk a little bit about the features on this. This is considered a pistol because this has a folding stock on it. So technically, it's a pistol, okay? But it's got a nice little folding stock. It's adjustable for length of pull, which is very nice. Now, there's no optics on this. There's an 11mm dovetail on there, so you can put your whatever type of optics you choose, whether it be a red dot, a compact scope, big scope, whatever you want to put on there, it'll go on there. All right, this gun comes with two 9-shot magazines. These are your typical rotating type magazines. You put a pellet in, you rotate it, you put the pellet in the bottom. You've seen these. They're similar in some of the Crossmans and the Benjamins and what have you. Same type of magazine. It also comes with a fill probe, and I got to hand it to them. They got a good fill probe here because it's got the natural Foster fitting on one end, so you don't have to buy an adapter for it. So you just plug this into the gun, actually right here in the bottom. I'll just show you real quick. You just plug this right here in the bottom of the gun, just like that, and then you put your air source on there. Really nice. Okay. So the gun, those are 9-shot magazines. So in .30 caliber, magazines hold 9 shots. The gun itself is under 5 pounds, about 4.8 pounds. It only has a 10-inch barrel in it. The barrel is only 10 inches, but it does have a moderator built in. It's got your cups on the inside here, inside the shroud itself. So the barrel is only about 10 inches, so it's a short little barrel. This one is the Plus, so it comes with the 300cc reservoir, which is nice. You fill this gun to 3,600 PSI. That's your fill level on this. And you're going to get around 700 feet per second with around a 45 grain pellet. So that's some pretty good power that's coming out of that. And you get, with this big tank, you're going to get, they claim, the manufacturer claims about 35 shots per fill. 35 good shots per fill. Now this is non-regulated, but you're going to get 35 shots per fill. So it also has a AR style grip on it. Really nice rubber, nice rubber texture grip. And then your gauge, your fill gauge is down here on the bottom. You can clearly see that. So pretty cool gun. And I want to thank the pellet shop for sending this to us. There's some great guys over there at the pellet shop. So they're in New York. I'll leave a link down below. So if you guys are interested, they specialize in these AEA, different types of air guns. So check them out when you have a chance. All right, let's go test this and then come back and talk about it. So stay tuned for the next segment. All right, let's do a little velocity test on our HPSS and see how well it does over the Crony. There's not much pellet selection in .30 caliber. We're going to use the JSBs. These are the 44.75 grain. We'll shoot 5 shots over the Crony. We'll see how well it does. I'll chart it out later for you during the conclusion, and we can talk about where the sweet spot is. But let's just shoot 5 shots, just see how well it does. Okay. All right, shot number 1. That's 709. Shot number 2. 707. Shot number 3. 703. Shot number 4. 690, and one more. 713. So you can see you're putting out some serious foot-pounds of energy with this little guy. You really are. Well, let's move on to the next segment. Let's try some accuracy with our HP Ss+Plus. And by the way, technically this is a pistol. Remember, this has a 10-inch barrel on it, a 10-inch barrel. So what we're going to shoot today, we're going to shoot the, there's not a big selection in pellets at all when it comes to 30 caliber. There's really only a handful. But these are the 44.75 grain. These are the Diablos put out by JSB. So we'll see how well we do with those. As usual, I'm just going to shoot 5 shots. But I really do want to thank Splatterburst for supplying us with these targets. We're going to be shooting these little 4-inch targets. I'll leave a link for you down below. But they really do help emphasize our impact point. Also, once again, because I've had questions, people want to say, hey, when you shoot this, how come you're not hitting dead center sometimes in the red dot? Well, specifically because I'm playing with the gun at different distances. So rather than switching the scope back and forth for the different distances, for this we're really concerned about grouping. We want grouping because you can always adjust the scope to your point of aim. So, but you want to see how tight a group you can make. So that's our emphasis for those of you that don't know that. So anyway, we're going to shoot today. We're just going to shoot 20 yards because it is a pistol. I'm sure it can do much farther than that, but we're going to just shoot 20 yards today, and we'll see how well it groups. Okay. So why don't you go ahead and take a quick look. All right. See how well we do. Wow, that was a good group, especially technically for a pistol, as we talked about before how short the barrel is on this. But that's a heck of a group. All right, let's move on to the next segment. All right, let's test the trigger on our HPSS. Said, I'm going to guess it's going to be a little bit on the heavy side, but it's very manageable. Anyway, we have our trusty Lyman trigger gauge here. Let's see how we make out. Not bad. 3 pounds, 7.7 ounces. 3 pounds, 7.7 ounces. Yeah, not a bad trigger at all. Actually, really good trigger for the most part. All right, let's move on to the next segment. All right, as you guys know, my favorite part of any review is the plinking. So we're going to see how well our HPSS does. I would have liked to push it back a little farther, but unfortunately my 40-yard range is down right now, so I can't use it. It should be back up hopefully within the next week or so, but I was really excited about getting this out and showing it to you. So we're just going to do our usual distance. Go ahead and take a quick look. It's our 20 yards. We're going to knock down a couple of eggs and still eggs and a couple cans, things like that. But I'm going to go ahead and use the 30 caliber Hades. Same weight of pellet, the 44.75. Just they have a little, almost not really a hollow point, but a serration on the front. So let's just shoot those little targets up there, see how well we do. And again, emphasize the impact on these. So we do have some steel eggs there. I'm going to start with the left side, and we'll work our way to the right. And a can. Look at the hole in that sucker. All right, the can in the middle. Oh yeah, let's go to the egg on the right. That had so much power it knocked both eggs down. But you get the idea. And like I said, I'd really like to test this out even farther. I think it'd do actually quite well, probably at 40 yards. But got to remember, this is only a 10-inch barrel. It's only a 10-inch barrel. Let's move on to the next segment and wrap this up. All right, let's wrap this up with our conclusion. Well, how did our HPSS+ do? Wow. I have to say, wow. I was pretty impressed. Definitely impressed. But like anything else, let's talk about the negatives first. Okay, one of my pet peeves on this, the number one negative part, is the amount of force it takes to pull this bolt all the way back. It's over 16 pounds to pull this bolt all the way back. And you have to get this all the way back, and that's not even in the locking position. So you have to hold it back at that level to get the magazine, to actually get the magazine in the gun. So, as I said, you got to pull it all the way back to get the magazine in. So that's my pet peeve. It's really heavy. And I have pretty strong hands. I'm just showing you. It takes an effort to get that magazine in there. So that would be one of my pet peeves. But that's just part of the process with it. It really is. So really heavy. Another one of my pet peeves, it's in 30 caliber in general, has nothing to do with this gun. It's just there's very limited amount of pellets you can get for this, very limited amount. But other than that, let's get to the fun part. Let's get to the positives on this thing. Wow, you want to talk about a fun gun to shoot? Semi-automatic in 30 caliber, putting out 50 foot-pounds of energy. Because it definitely did what the manufacturer claimed as far as feet per second goes. Yeah, we were getting right around that 700 feet per second, which was giving us around 50 foot-pounds of energy. So definitely took care of that. I love the fact that this is a pistol style and the fact that you can fold this stock in. It's so compact if you think about it. You can pack that into a nice small little bag, travel bag, something of that nature, pretty small. It's pretty cool. I also like the fact that, and I don't know if I covered this, this has an adjustment on the transfer port on this side. You can actually adjust the transfer port. Now, if you go all the way to the very lowest level, it doesn't shoot. It's not enough to push the pellets out. But if you go right around that, just the next notch up, somewhere in between. So we were shooting around 700 feet per second at full power. You're going to get about the first notch up here, you're going to get around 400 and so feet per second. Next one, you're going to get about 500, so on, 600, and then at full power, you're going to get 700 feet per second. So if you want to, you can quiet this down by cranking it down to that first notch, about 500 feet per second. The gun's pretty backyard friendly, and you're going to get a lot more shots as far as fill goes, if you just want to do a little plinking in some cans and what have you. But we tested it for you on camera on full power when we were doing that. So we had good accuracy. I really wish that I could have stretched it out, but I didn't have the facility right now to be able to move it out to the 40 yards. I have some stuff going on. But anyway, hopefully in the future, maybe I'll get another caliber or what have you, and we can test it at a greater distance. That would be fun. So we did get 4 magazines out of this. 36 really good shots. And I went ahead and charted this thing for you. And let me tell you something, that was not a fun process because I didn't have a lot of 30 caliber pellets, so I had to do a shot for everyone. But anyway, I charted this out for you, and I found the sweet spot. The sweet spot is going to be between your third and your fourth. So your full third magazine and your fourth magazine. And you're averaging in the 700 feet per second. So that's the real sweet spot. But here's the bonus for that you guys know about. Okay, so the negative is you got to charge this thing to 3,600 PSI. Well, like my scuba tanks and what have you, they're 3,000 PSI, so I have to pull the pump out to go above that. But what I discovered, if you fill this to 3,000 PSI, you're going to get 2 magazines out of it. So you're going to get 18 shots at the highest velocity. So it's right there in that sweet spot of the curve. And I charted this all out, as I said, so go ahead and take a look at that. But you're going to get 18 sweet shots in the 700 feet per second range by filling it only to 3,000 PSI. So that's something to think about. If you don't have a heavy pump, you can still use this. You're just going to get some less shots out of it. So, like I said, 2 full magazines in that sweet spot. So just keep that in mind, which is really nice. Other than that, this gun is so cool. I love the grip on it. I love the way the fill probe is. And you got to give them bonuses for having the Foster fitting design right here on the end of it. So you don't have to get that adapter like you do with others, and you got to screw it in and use that type of fitting. So I really like the fact that that's just ready to go. You just pop that in, and it's really simple. The trigger wasn't bad on it, especially for a semi-automatic. So overall, I really, really like the gun. And I just can't emphasize enough the power on this thing when you're shooting a 30 caliber pellet like that. It really is significant. 700 feet per second. Whoa. But I would have to give this gun the way it is, just with the negatives and what have you, is 4.5 stars, without a doubt. And it earned the 4.5 stars. As you saw, I had to put a compact optic on here. That's completely unrelated to the gun, but I'll leave a link for you guys down below in case you're curious about this. Yeah, solid 4.5 stars. But hey, I really want to thank the Pellet Shop again. And if you want to get these AEA products, not everybody carries them. The Pellet Shop's one, and then Utah Airguns is another good one. They also carry this. So you can check out either of those. I'll leave links for both of those down below. But anyway, I want to thank you once again for tuning in to this episode of Airgun Detectives. Don't forget, this is where we take the mystery out of the airgun. Until next time, I hope you are safe, your families are great, and you get plenty of shooting in. So God bless. Take care.